I'm being prompted this evening my dog's all excited to share something that's really strong in my heart that maybe somebody needs to hear, especially if you're young and you're reading and learning about the violence Yahusha had to suffer, that he chose to suffer for us, for our sake. That doesn't mean it's your fault. Okay? It's not your fault. We inherited this. And instead of just letting all of Adam and Eve's descendants and all parts of the heaven and earth that were affected by this to be fallen away, far apart from Yahuah, having to go into destruction, Yahuah saw you. Yahusha saw you. And me and everybody to come who would be faithful, who had value, qualities that they want to spend time with. They want you as part of their family. And so they waited for you to be born, for you to come into this world, and for them to be able to reveal themselves to you. You're the answer to their desires. You're what they wanted. And this is what they're willing to do for you. It's not your fault. It's not because of you. And it's not just for you and your sins. No. It's because they saw you coming. They wanted you. They wanted to protect you so that you could be a part of the cosmic family. You have value to them. And I thought maybe if I shared what I learned when I asked for my own creation story. I was alienated from Yahuah because I had had a very bad upbringing in the Catholic Church. And then I thought, when I became a mother, I said, where do I look for a good example of a parent? Well, that would be God, right? So I found a congregation I thought would work, and I felt, it had all the answers that I needed, and it had a sense of family that was absent all my life, and I had bad experience. So I left, and I didn't pursue looking toward God again for a little while. But during that absence, that distance from Yahuah, I came across a workbook to help me choose my spirituality, to discover it for myself, instead of having other people tell me what to believe. And one of the exercises in that workbook was to ask for your own creation story. And it was right there. It wanted to be told. It wanted me to know. And I wasn't told the story. I experienced the story of how I came to be. And from that story, I can tell you exactly what it means. In the beginning was the Word, the light that Yahusha was. And so I thought that I could explain it to you, and maybe that would help you understand better what it means that God said, "Let there be light, and let there be dark." But then he created the sun and the moon and the rest of the bodies of light in the sky. What light was he creating? And I can tell you. So, before physical creation, there was just Yahuah. And there was desire and feeling and discovering how to get that desire fulfilled. And then, from one perspective, was, I wonder what I look like. And that was when Yahuah knew physical creation was ready to be born. And so there was an entity that was born of Yahuah's imagination, the creation, how this could come to be. Within that being was light. And Yahuah said, "Give birth, let there be light." Now, all that was Yahuah. And so for this light to be born in its own space as something separate from Yahuah and different from Yahuah, Yahuah had to make space within Yahuah's self, because there is no end and no beginning to Yahuah. There's no outside of Yahuah. There's no underneath. There's no over. It's just all Yahuah. And so space had to be made. And as that space grew, Yahuah commanded, "Shaddai, stop." That's what El Shaddai means. I am the one who commanded, stop. And that light through which Yahuah created everything else, that light is what Yahusha is. And so, no. Do you want help getting up? So want help? Come here. Ready, set, up. So, Yahusha was there in the beginning, and that's how everything was created, through Yahusha. And Yahusha is what keeps and guards all of creation. And that's how Yahusha knew you were coming. And that's when Yahusha knew that he would do whatever it took for you to be born. So it's not your fault. You inherited it. And rather than lose you, Yahusha agreed to suffer. Because for him, it's just a little while. 1,000 years is just a day up in heaven. He didn't even suffer for a fraction of a day. Not even a whole minute. It probably felt like years and eons when he was going through it. But it wasn't. And then Yahuah brought him back to life and brought him up with him and waited for you to be born and to grow and to reach a point to receive knowledge, understanding, appreciation, and maturity in all those things so that you could be you and that they could see you and have you with them and appreciate you because you're beautiful. You're beautiful. And you're wanted. You're wanted very, very much. You're loved. And that's what love is. So I hope that helps you. If in any way there's any part of you that thinks you're to blame for anything bad happening in this world, or anything bad that happened to Yahusha, you're not. It's not your fault. And eventually, the question would have had to been answered at some point. Should we obey Yahuah? Better the first time out, right? Instead of watching world after world after world get destroyed. And then we have our experiences to share with anybody who comes after us. This is what happened. This is what that means. This is why we don't do that. And then it doesn't have to happen again like that. The question is answered once and for all. I hope that helps.